Thank you. So, happy spring. I thought I'd start by apologizing because this weather is entirely my fault. I washed my car and my winter coat. So, major regrets, at least it looks like it's getting better. I've been working in this industry for about 15 years. I work full-time for the Canadian Forces, so I'm kind of used to a dynamic where we have more men in the room than women, so I'm really happy to see actually the percentage of women here. So good to see you at the table back there. So that's wonderful. And in this line of work, what I've been working towards is making sure that individuals and families can not only live well today, but retire happy in the future. And my area of expertise has been in fixing things that are broken. So a lot of the time I'm working as a counselor and actually repairing the damage that has been created by not knowing some of the rules to help us live well and retire happy. So we have a compressed period of time, so I have about 45 minutes to share with you the secret. The one secret to have a good life and a happy retirement. Are you ready for that? Yeah, good. So here's the deal. Normally when I teach retirement or pre-retirement, I'm teaching over 1 or 2 days because there's a lot of information built into retirement planning. RSPs, tax-free savings accounts, understanding pensions, investing, estate planning, and much, much more. So rather than delve into all of those topics in a compressed period, I want to share with you one idea, which I think is actually the best idea. It's the one secret to retiring happy, and it's so much of a secret, I don't even know why I'm telling you this. Do you know who would be upset with me telling you this secret? Financial planners. Mostly because they build their business around selling you the idea that money leads to a happy retirement. Now, money is an element in happy retirement, but it certainly isn't the only thing. So I want to touch on these areas. I want to look briefly at financial literacy, the lessons that we learn at home, which bring us to where we are today, and then ultimately what we're teaching our children now, so something to think about. What I call myth information, so information that we're getting from the industry, which slants us the wrong direction, and then we're going to talk about lifestyle. So this is about taking the first steps. For me, it's about giving you light bulb moments. Does everybody know what a light bulb moment is? It's one of those moments where you go, aha, I get it. It becomes meaningful. It's like they say something important, it means something, you understand, and then what I'm hoping is that you'll take it one step further and it won't just make sense, but it will make sense to you, for your life. And that's when planning becomes personal. When you're looking at planning, when it comes to using advisors, much of the time planning isn't a personal, it's a math problem. And I want to get us past that. So I don't want to sort of overplay the idea of a light bulb moment. It sounds kind of foo-foo. But what I mean is that there can be life-changing light bulb moments. And if I could leave you with one today, I'm going to consider that our time together was really valuable. I am doing my homework, Mom. Career training for early retirement. So this comic actually illustrates the old version of retirement. The thought that you retired to relax, to lay around, and all you really needed was a lazy boy and good cable. Now that's not the retirement of today, but we've also seen the other perspective. If you think to the media, the advertising on television, the commercials, the publications in magazines, what you see there is a very interesting depiction of retirement. Everybody seems to have a yacht. They have no wrinkles. They may have gray hair, but this idea that they're always retiring in partnerships, so you always have your spouse with you, that's not always realistic, and that in retirement, It's all this beautiful picture. It's perfect all the time. Jim has nicknamed this retirement porn. It's an image. It's sexy. And retirement is changing dramatically. Let's look at some of the ways it's changing. So certainly we know about the baby boom generation, and there's been a lot of fear-mongering about what happens when that baby boom generation begins to retire, and we have our first early baby boomers retiring and able to get their Canada Pension Plan at age 60 now. And that glut is creating an idea in people's minds that that's going to be a huge and insurmountable challenge when it comes to your own retirement plans. And I'm going to challenge you, that's not the case. We're living healthier, we're living longer, and we're living a much more vital life. So there's mandatory retirement. You remember mandatory retirement at age 65. It was very interesting that retirement was at 65, Canada Pension Plan could be paid at 65, old age security at age 70, but the average life expectancy was 64. Doesn't work that way. Retirement used to be a very short period of time. The idea was you worked, you had a retirement party that included a slab cake, and then it was a wake. These days, you could potentially, especially if you spent a lot of time in school, spend more years retired than you did working. So the years, these productive years, we have to be smart with in order to plan well for retirement. Lots of retirees work. You heard the early retirement stats, certainly for your own industry. Your industry is consistent with a lot of the industries related to public service. One of the rules of thumb for self-employed, because a lot of people will leave work and then be contractors, self-employed in some way, is 69. How about farmers? Some of my good friends that are farmers say farmers don't retire, they die. So interest rates certainly is a perception of a risk that we have, and you heard a little bit earlier about the expectations of rising interest rates from Todd. We look at retirement as being far busier, more active, more dynamic, more varied than it ever has been before, and I'm going to challenge you to think a little bit less about money. We assume retirement's all about money, and that's not the case at all. So the secret is that retirement can be anything you want it to be. The hard part is deciding what it is you want. So that's the tough step, is you have to figure it out. Basically, retirement is about good planning. Good planning that allows you to live a good life today and then continue that into your retirement years. You never started a retirement plan? I never had the time. I figured it was something I could work on after I was retired. How many of you have a retirement plan? That's actually, I think you're beating the average. 6 out of 10 Canadians had no plans for retirement. It looked like about 60% of you have some plans, so that's brilliant. Most people spend more time spending a 15-day vacation than they do spending 15 years of retirement. A related stat said that people will spend more time talking with their future partner about the wedding day and the wedding plans than they will spend in the rest of their marriage talking about money. Money is an uncomfortable topic, and I'm going to show you another example of that, but there is a stat that says that we will actually talk about sex, and we don't talk about sex, more often than we talk about money. So, I like the idea that the planning for retirement is actually done in a very unusual context. We tend to do that at the water cooler or the coffee, and basically listen to people who don't know anything tell us what to do. There's a lot of advice, and since I work full-time for the Canadian Forces, I call it buddy advice. My buddy told me I should, and the advice is unbelievable. You always have to have a bit of a filter and be able to determine what is right for you. So when you think about a retirement plan, what does it look like? Is it a binder? Did you ever go to an advisor and he printed out page after page of baffling charts and then came up with some, what seemingly insurmountable retirement number? The amount of money you need to have in order to be successful? $2 million? Do I hear $4 million? Those numbers are tossed around all the time. But I actually think that it's less about the number and more about what you want to do. So we're going to write today a financial plan together. And a good plan starts with a piece of paper and a pen, but not this kind of paper, not with all of these lines. We don't actually have that much to say right now. We're going to start with an infinitely smaller piece of paper. So my very helpful assistants came around and left you the tiniest little piece of paper I could find. So if you could grab that, we're going to follow through with a little activity to help you grasp the idea of retiring happy. Did everybody get one? If you don't have one, put your hand up because we'll race one over to you. Look at that, racing, racing. See, that was good. I like the sense of control. Do you have one? Okay. We're missing one over here. Okay, so planning. Here's your little piece of paper. What I'd like you to do first is write your name in the middle. Just write it little, just a small name. By writing your name, you're taking ownership of this. This is your plan. It's nobody else's plan. How many of you are married or in a relationship you'd expect to retire with that person? Good bunch. Wow, the majority. So let's switch it up. Let's go with the people that have the advantage. Where's the singles? Yay, singles. You have the advantage. Why? Because when you do this exercise and you're thinking about retirement plans, you're calling this my plan. And couples, what are you likely to call it? Our plan. But what is it really? Because you can only plan for yourself. It's my plan and how my partner is going to screw it up. Okay, so this, you've taken ownership of this plan, your plan. Now I want you to think of one thing that you can do. For those of you who are closer to retirement, I could say within 10 years. And this is something that you would do retired. For those of you who are feeling like, hey, wait, retirement is just so far off, instead you can consider this exercise as a way to enhance lifestyle or take a new look at focusing on your own leisure, which we don't do enough of, because some dumb statistic came out that said Canadians want to work more hours. Want to work more hours. I don't know who wrote that, who took that survey. But for those of us who aren't quite ready for retirement, I'm 10 years away. So 10 years, I know that's when I will have choices about my own retirement. But that's because I learned about this before I graduated from university. So I started thinking and walking this walk more than 15 years ago. Okay, so you're going to do one thing. Now, if you can't think of what that could be, you have to sort of make a list of priorities. So you may want to throw something, what would be fun? What would be an adventure? What is something you've always wanted to do? You're still stuck? Then let's try one more way of looking at it. We're going to think about where. This might help you come up with the what. Because in terms of what, there's lots of options. So the first thing I'm going to say, where might you do this? So if you said, how many of you said travel? You're very predictable. So a lot of people say travel. And what's important about deciding where, and if you have a lot of places in mind, have your where be the first place you would go. The problem is when we think of travel, there's a big difference between Banff and Bangkok, like 4 zeros. So when I grew up, we went camping, and camping was getting out the 1978 Chevy Caprice Estate station wagon with the woody sides and vinyl seats. And we went camping. I didn't know that wasn't fancy at the time. It seemed pretty cool. All my friends apparently thought Hawaii was a better choice. But choosing the where can help you work towards the plan. Now, if you're still not sure, there's lots of activities that you can consider. Things that you like to do by yourself in case you might retire prior to your partner retiring, or you don't have a partner to retire with. Things you might enjoy doing with other people, a dream you've always wanted to pursue, something that you enjoy that costs less than $5. Not a bad thing to think about these days too. But once you have your idea, basically what you've done is given yourself something to shoot for. And odds are not everything on your cards is going to relate to money and having to have a mountain of money. It's not the same. Retirement is changing so much. So, you've got your name, you know the first thing that you're going to do, and you know where you're going to do it. So what's the point? We may spend years carrying a card that says nothing about who we are and is thrown away when you change jobs, direction, or you retire. It's who you are. This isn't who you are. Your card that you're writing now is about who you are, or who you want to be, what part of your life you want to enhance, what passion you want to pursue. That, I'm shredding when I quit that job, right? Lots of parents want to help their kids get started. Did you know that 3 out of 4 times a parent that co-signs a debt ends up paying it? Ooh. So if you can afford to give it, great, but certainly you don't want to encourage co-signing for your kids because it has an impact for you, certainly on your retirement, your own borrowing ability, so be very careful. We also learned some really bad information from the financial industry. Any bankers in the room? I was afraid because I don't want to upset anybody. There's that commercial from a while ago, do you remember it? When there was stuff going wrong in the house, they said, oh, the problem is you've got bankers. Yes. Loved it. The first thing that we do wrong in the financial industry is we tell you that there's a certain season for everything. So, are you enjoying tax season so far? I love the new commercial with the guy with the sore butt. Is it all, you've got tax pain, nothing I can do about that. But we also talk about RSP season. Neither of these things should be considered seasonally. They are year-round endeavors. Tax planning is virtually useless when done in April. Tax planning is done all year. Also, spending with benefits, programs that are brought out by institutions that will trick you into thinking you're saving through spending. So, when you use your credit card or your debit card, they'll round up to the nearest dollar and put that change in a bank account for you. I'm saving. And if I go buy another coffee today, I'll save some more. It can be scary when you think about that. Loyalty programs. Now, I'm not saying anything's wrong with points or miles, but studies have shown that we spend more to achieve those points or miles that would actually cost us to pay for the trip. So as long as you know you're spending on stuff that you would have normally spent on, even if you used cash, then you're winning, no problem. We also have good job slogans. Scotiabank's famous for, you're richer than you think. So how many people sitting on the sofa at home hear you're richer than you think and you go, oh, thank goodness. I am relieved to hear that. I don't have to do anything about it. Have you heard 60 is the new 50? Mostly because all the money we saved in the last decade is gone. A lot of us are very good savers, but we're bad at choosing the place we save. So you have lots of people competing for your business using high interest savings account or premium savings accounts. If it doesn't beat inflation, there is nothing premium about it. So Ally at 2, ING today at 1.5, those are better than normal banks because the interest rate's at the first dollar. But since it's still not catching inflation, it's dangerous. It means your money is in effect shrinking while sitting there. So we gotta find good ways to save the money. We also have institutions that create products to help quell our fears. How many of you remember the big dip? So the last big one, the market crashed with 40% loss, and a lot of people said, that's it. I am not doing that ever again. And the problem is when we heard that, the products that came out were anything that, don't worry about risk, risk-free this, risk-free that. When you say risk-free, what you're guaranteeing is a low growth. And when you have low growth, the only thing truly guaranteed is if that's how you chose to save for your retirement, I guarantee you will not have enough money. We can't take that as our only method of saving. So we're basically buying into the way they sell us that market fear. How many of you shop at Walmart? Let me share with you in 1 minute what the Walmart method is. You go to Walmart and you see your favorite brand of toilet paper on sale half price. What do? Do you buy it? You buy more? You stock up? You find out if they got cases in the back? If we invested the way toilet paper is sold and the toilet paper was half price, we'd go, deal, the market is down, the cost of all of those great stocks is down, let's buy more. But instead, we look at the toilet paper and go, I guess that's not good toilet paper anymore. Obviously, I'd be better off if I bought this full price brand over here, which is how we do invest. We buy the winner, and then the winner is very seldom the winner 2 years in a row. And so then we're more likely to lose money and get frustrated with the system. So we need advisors who will actually teach us how the system works. They also start with the wrong question. We often ask the advisor, how much do I need? We're back at money. An advisor will use a formula. They will typically say you need 70% of your pre-retirement income in retirement. They will put in arbitrary growth rates. They will put in an arbitrary inflation rate. And then they'll decide whether or not you have enough. There is no way that that meeting goes well when you walk in and they say, well, based on our analysis, as of now, you need to start to save about $4,800 every month. You see why people don't want to do this. But part of that problem is the people working and doing those estimates also don't know how to value your pension, your savings, your lifestyle. Those things are extremely relevant to a good financial plan. So you need to find someone who's going to help you in that direction. So retirement planning is not a math problem. It's a question of lifestyle. So you need to start with lifestyle, yours, not anybody else's. You're not trying to live someone else's retirement porn dream. You want your own. So retirement planning begins with lifestyle rather than ends with it. When you think of retirement planning ending with lifestyle, it's like, okay, well, this is where I am. Oh, crap. We want it to be something you're shooting for that's positive. So retirement should be your preferred lifestyle, the way you want to live. And if you're enjoying work, you're enjoying your life the way it is, and you can't see that your lifestyle would improve by retiring, don't. Keep working. Working for a lot of people is a very positive aspect. Once you know you have the financial stability to make a decision as to whether or not you work, that's great. That's where you want to be. That's the ideal. Because then you could take it or leave it. You could say, today, bad day, I'm done. And you could walk away. So it's knowing what you need to retire. And part of that is on a budget scale. You gotta know what it costs your lifestyle. So the secret, all kinds of retirement cards, right? What does your plan look like? What do you want it to be? I know what I want for me. I'm only planning for me. Remember, it's planning is internal. I can only do it for myself. No one can do it for me. Someone can help you put your plan in action, but it's still your plan. So, living a happy retirement starts before retirement. It's not something that you actually put in your request to retire or your resignation, and somebody waves a little wand and poof, happy retirement befalls you. It is active. It's active leading up to and into retirement. And a happy retirement may not take millions of dollars. It really depends ultimately on lifestyle. The number of people that we have worked with, the trio of us, Jim Yee, Rain Salas, and I, that have worked with countless couples, and one of the things that we sit down and say to them in a planning session is, why are you working? You don't have to. We see tons and tons of people who are already in a position where they can choose to retire, but they couldn't see it. So planning helps you to see it. Retirement can be anything that you want it to be. Are you inspired to learn a little bit more? We didn't have a chance to delve into some of the nitty-gritty details on taxes and estate planning and RSPs and how you grow your money and how you invest through retirement. So I did bring copies of our book here today, and because of this special event that we're having, I'm able to offer them to you at a supreme discount. We sell them lots of places. Amazon.ca is one of the places you can get it online. You can also get it at Greenwoods Books. But if you prefer it at a deal, I'm all about a deal. We sell them for $20. You can do that by check, credit card, or cash. Happy to do that. It's good information. It's going to help give some clarity to all of those areas. We start with the retirement activity that you did today within the book, and then carry it on so that you can see at each step how you can create your own dynamic plan for a very, very satisfying, successful, and happy retirement. So I leave you with one more little piece of information. That it's a wish for you, I think, is the best way to put it. There is so much information out there. To filter it to what you need, you have to start with yourself. So you can live well and retire happy. And my wish for you is best riches in family, friendship, lifestyle, and finance.